Coming up tonight, Gordon and Gary sneak off to see Wago's new HQ. And the boxing winner is... ducking, dodging and drama in this week's challenge. Gordon takes on the big smoke. And is this the ultimate test instrument? Once upon a time, electricity came from big power stations, and it behaved itself. But then came net zero, and things started to get complicated. Now, your clean green tech might be silently wreaking havoc on the power in your home. Flickering lights, buzzing appliances, unexplained faults. So tonight, on eFIXX TV, we uncover the dirty secret behind the renewables revolution. We investigate the silent chaos caused by low carbon tech. We show you how to track down mysterious power problems. And we find out why electricians entering the solar game need to stop guessing and start measuring. Because net zero might just be messing with your vaults. This is eFIXX TV.
Welcome to eFIXX TV, your fortnightly live stream here on Facebook and on YouTube. We've got a cracking episode for you today, and we'd like to thank our lead sponsors, LEW, for supporting this. They are electrical distributors in 18 different locations across the following, Gordon. I'm going to remember all of them. They're Lincolnshire, Yorkshire, Greater Manchester, Teesside, Cambridgeshire, Leicestershire, Nottinghamshire. Offer great services, and again, another opportunity tonight to get involved and get yourself £50 off when you spend your first 250 quid. But you heard there, we're giving away some boxing tickets, and it won't be me and you having a dust up, young man, because we're back together this week, aren't we?
Yes, we are. We've hopefully sorted out the Wago affair. You can put that behind us. Let us in for the grand opening.
Yes, we did go for the grand opening, and we were quite well welcomed considering the poor video that we released with the interconnections that Rick did from last time out as well, wasn't it? So this week, okay, we've got that dirty little secrets from net zero, okay? So we're all trying to get to net zero. We're trying to generate our own electricity, be very mindful of consumption. So if we can save it, obviously we can save our money. And Rick's quite generous at the moment with his electricity. What's he been doing in the past couple of days?
Yes, he's put his solar in now, and he's now giving it away. There's that much sun up here in Yorkshire at the moment. He's giving free energy away to the grid, which he doesn't like. Okay. So the other day, nipped off at lunchtime to put the washing machine on. Yeah, and I pointed out it probably cost him more to drive home to put it on.
The 20 pence that he would have saved in electricity. But it can be putting stuff back on the grid that's drew us to this subject this evening, because we've had some comments in from social media. I wrote it down here so I don't get it wrong. So we've had some comments in from social media looking at the effects of adding renewable energy to the grid, whether that be solar or micro wind generation, and it's caused issues with the voltages. And then there's a big story about whose problem it is, and tonight we're going to find out the equipment from Chauvin Arnoux that can tell you whether it's your fault or the grid's fault.
It is.
Now the problem is when you have maybe elevated voltage that you've maybe created yourself from your micro generation, and you've got an EV charger out there. We know part of the PEM fault protection there looks at the voltages, doesn't it? And potentially you go to bed, get up in the morning, your car ain't charged.
There's all sorts of problems out there.
There is.
Thank you to Andrew in Cambridge for sending us his concern. He's had a few problems himself.
Oh, was he?
Tried to solve it with a voltage optimizer. That didn't work. And you know, sometimes when you go on at something blind, you make mistakes, don't you? But it's best. Hopefully tonight we'll unpick some of the instruments that, probably the weapons that would be used against you to prove that it's not the DNO's fault and you've caused all the problems.
Yeah, I don't think it's a case of saying I think it's their fault, because they're going to come in with equipment that we're going to show you tonight that you can have, as well as different versions of it, but they'll come in with a compelling story that it's your fault.
But I see loads on social media, you dig into Facebook groups, it's people saying, a neighbour's put in solar, my EV charger's now tripping off, or I've put in solar and now appliances are starting to not work quite as well as they used to do.
Right, okay.
And it's, you see it in Facebook groups all the time. Then they might call the DNO, and the DNO just shrugs the shoulders and goes, it's not our problem. So
then that becomes the electrician's problem that installed it, and tonight we're going to see some fantastic equipment that can delve in beyond that AC waveform and actually show us what's going on underneath the hood. Who's in the green room with us this week?
Look. We have got. Let's have a look. We have got Elliot and Zach over there. Look at that. They're looking around here. He's looking. Yeah, we're looking at you there. There's a camera on you there. He's checking.
God bless him. He doesn't get out very often. He's from a place called
Colne, across the border, Lancashire.
Lancashire. That's it. It's very close to us, isn't it? Lancashire. So, without no further ado, let's bring them in. Let's bring in Elliot and Zach from Chauvin Arnoux, the experts in the room. thank you very much for joining us, gentlemen.
Oh, thanks for having us.
Yeah, we've had a great day. So Rick's been pouring all over this with me today. So thank you very much for showing us those demonstrations. We're going to try and give as much distilled information as we can tonight at probably that level that everybody can be involved in. You talk extremely technical, and we've been lost, haven't we, ourselves today? So we're going to try and keep it in the room. But first of all, Elliot, tell us in 60 seconds all about yourself.
So, name's Elliot. If you haven't gathered, I used to work in the I worked in the electrical test and measurement industry space for 14 years, and I was actually testing this sort of equipment prior, and then done a bit of training for UK Power Networks after the fact. So yeah, done some training with their equipment. So they would purchase equipment, and then I'd go and do training for them. With the equipment.
Yeah, and I felt I went through that training process with you today as well, which was very valuable. Yeah, no, it was good. And yourself, Zach?
Yeah, I'm Zach. I'm a mechanical engineer. I've done 10 years in mechanical engineering, operating and setting CNC machines. I've recently swapped my industry to the electrical side, so I've got a lot to learn, but I'm looking forward to it and got a good future.
Oh, you must be in great hands. Any time spent with him, he's going to learn some really good stuff.
Bags of knowledge.
Oh, thank you.
But we're really concerned about one thing and one thing only at this stage, aren't we?
We are. It is time to look at the Electricians Challenge, yes. And everyone at home can join in the fun now as well. And Rick's looking at me. Klein. But yes, we do. You're right there. We'll get the times in first, Rick, and then we'll do it. It's good.
Well, that's good. That's good. It's good. He's telling you what to do.
So you do have to guess who's going to finish the Electricians Challenge fastest. Will it be Zach in 7 minutes 52? If you think it's Zach in 7 minutes 52, put that in the comments. If you think it's Elliot in 2 minutes 34, put Elliot and 2 minutes 34 in the comments.
You did look up. I know you're a tall man. You did look up, didn't you, when you got here? And you were gazing up there at that 244, and you put yourself. You didn't, not because you didn't want to. You just wasn't tall enough to gaze up there. Where you were looking at the middle territory there by gazing up at 410, weren't you? So this should be interesting. Now I wouldn't be fooled by anyone's background on this one. This could be incredibly close. I don't actually know the result. I saw the first 2 times that went through. The first time each that went through, and it went nothing.
I think it's going to be close.
Yeah, I think it's going to be close as well.
It's going to be close.
Yeah.
Prize to be won. So before we do that, obviously, what we got to do next, Gordon?
Well, we have to find out. Again, keep those times coming in there. There's been a few. Everyone's weighing in Elliot's direction at the minute, just because.
Don't
let us hoodwink you. There's a few coming in for Zach there.
No idea.
Yeah.
All right, okay, that's fine. Carry on. So so we're going to find out if they were inclined to use the Klein tools or they declined the tools. So we're going to find out now. So here we come, and it is decline or.
So before we do the challenge, we need to find out if the contestants are going to Klein or decline. Let's move over here. Zach, what will it be? Are you going to Klein or decline the tools?
It's a Klein from me.
Elliot, what about yourself?
It's going to be a climb from me as well.
So there you have it. Both going to climb. Let's see how they go.
Well, they all were inclined to use the Klein tools, which is great. Thank you very much for the sponsorship of the tools on our little shadow wall, but it's not what tools we've got at this stage. You two are worried about having just digested an Indian cuisine. You're wondering who's fastest. Let's throw them up and see who's up first. Let's see if it's you, Zach, or you, Elliot, who's going to be first up. Is it going to be a good sign or a bad sign? I would suggest this is a bad sign. So here we go then. So we're off and running. Now, we actually hampered you slightly here, didn't we, Zach? Because we put it at a normal height for normal people.
Yeah.
So you've come in like the Hobbit, and you're trying now to obviously reach up to that consumer unit, which feels like it's well in the distance from you.
We used to do screws.
Yeah, well,
mechanically, can't get away with an excuse there.
If it's anything like the one run I did walk in on, the handle of the screwdriver got less and less use. As he rolled down it, he actually got closer to the tip every time. And if he does that, it is a thing of beauty. Well, that's a good start. So
I think Joe's been kind on the edit here.
Yeah, I think he has been kind with the edit. So remember, it's the fastest of the 3 times. So this is the first one, which historically is awful.
Done any wiring at home, have you? Bit of DIY?
Never any wiring at all.
Can you do engineering and never touch any wiring then?
It's just all CNC machinery. So setting ball orders, setting tools.
Sensor drops off on the night shift though.
Setting your backside down on a stool, was that another thing you sat down? Yeah, absolutely. Strippers are good though. Did you like the strippers? You seem to work them quite well.
Yeah. So they were Easy to use.
Right.
Yeah, okay, we're in there
This
now.
looks quite. Oh, he's trying to tighten it to
As we look at it there, though, when you do the behind shot, it looks like a 14-year-old choir boy. Doesn't it?
A bit of Alan Jones.
Yeah,
back in the day.
Oh, you go back some way, don't you? He's a grown man now, isn't he? Look, there he is. Yep.
Hopping
The
up
height
there.
differences.
Yeah,
is
it
it all?
Could have done with a stool
The
there.
face.
Yeah, concentration. Yeah, look at it. Yes.
yes.
Right, now we're down the bottom, so we're just 4 connections away from completing the Electricians Challenge. Got a little wristwatch on there. Looks like a swatch. Swatch. You remember back in the day, those coloured wristwatches that you couldn't get? What have you got on your wristwatch?
It's a Garmin.
It's
what?
It's gormless.
Garmin.
Gormless Garmin.
Garmin.
Across the border, straight across from Lancashire. Might never get back. Need to bring a sort of tracker.
Oh, right, okay. Oh, it's like an ankle bracelet.
Yeah, it's not one of those government-approved trackers.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
So you did say you needed to be home by 9 o'clock. Is that part of the wristwatch? Will it sort of send out a beacon of some sort and police officer will rush there?
I've got it set, so I might do.
Okay, here we go. Shirt's half out now, so again, it does look like we're halfway through the day. You've probably played football at lunchtime. You were probably in goal, I would imagine. Yeah, so that's it. So here we go. So we're a couple of connections away from finishing. And this is the first socket outlet you've ever wired up. Now, Elliot, have you ever wired socket outlets before?
I have.
Nice bit of DIY.
Yeah, he's done a little bit of electrical work.
Your own kitchen or something, did you?
No, nothing like that. Nothing to.
You've actually kept on the handle this one. On the one I watched, like I said, you kept rolling lower and lower and lower as you went down.
Right, let's push them in. Come on.
He's got a whiff of Alan Jones about it, though, hasn't it? Yeah, it's like...
That's a short backbox right? That's great. I love that.
Screws.
Right, 2 screws.
Did we drop them? We leave them on the top. We've got them looking for the screwdriver. Yeah. Is it the right one? Yes, it is. Here we go. This is the bit you kept. Yes, there it is. Full roll down. It starts at the handle and ends at the tip. I've never seen this before in my life. So yes, and he ends at the
Look
tip.
at that. Perfect technique, that.
You just
We'll
can't
call that a
teach
Zach
that.
now.
Can't teach that.
You can't teach that. No, yeah. He did it. Oh, the only press one button. Well, we know who's up now. It's the big man. This bloke does not need a step. So no Ramo coming in here. How tall are you, Elliot?
6'5".
6'5", eh? Not that 6'4", folks. This is 6'5", a giant of a man. Now we're not going to mention it, Rick. I know you went there, but we're not going to mention it. Okay, he's a big lad. It wasn't me. I wasn't going to mention the thinning of the hairline. Okay, I wasn't going to mention.
I'm visiting my mother when I get back off holiday. Actually, I'll just see how that carpet's getting on.
I mean, those bottom 2 treads on her landing, they're absolutely threadbare, aren't they? It reminds me.
Right, this is good twisting here.
You were a teeth
listen?
man. No, he was a teeth man in one of the goes. Yeah, Rick said he was a teeth man. You can't help but see it now, though, folks. Can you? You can't help but see it. God, that is a long way down,
isn't it?
It is a long way.
Oh, hold on, we've got a bit of tangle going on here.
Is it compulsory the team wear brown shoes? Is that part of the white shirt, brown shoes?
It's just come uniform today, haven't we, Zach?
Yeah.
Nice. Company brown shoes, are they?
Yeah.
No,
French. Bit of French. Joie de vivre, is it that what they say, Gary? Is it Rodney?
Mon stew, del boy. Here we go then. So we're 3 connections in the consumer unit. And it's looking quick, but again, it might be an edit. Oh, he's used a pair of side cutters before there. It's Klein tools. What's he looking for now? Oh, automatic wire strippers. He's going for those. Right. Protective conductor goes in. Again, we're not bothered where it goes, as long as it goes into the earth bar. 2 connections within our Lewden consumer unit. This is the only one on the market we think that is jet black. I think the pink one that was advertised by another company, I think was a
one-off.
I think it was an April Fool's. I've been caught out today on LinkedIn. I've gone back onto LinkedIn after having a day off.
And yet you've
I
been
found a
hoodwinked.
double-ended arm egg hole saw.
Right.
I found a solar-powered socket for indoors so it can power itself. Yeah, I was looking at these things. I thought these are odd. Perhaps we could put them in the news. I thought only on the April the 1st. Yeah. People might have noticed we didn't do one this year. We had an embryonic idea for one, but unfortunately we were out of town, weren't we, mate?
I was at Solar and Storage today, and I thought some of the products were April Fools,
right,
but they corrected me in the end. So no, we've just launched it.
Okay. Right. Okay. That hasn't quite kept up with some of the other ones.
Right. God, this looks like it's taking a long
look at
time.
This. Whoa, look at that.
Losing the tools.
Look at that. Hey, digging around.
Squatting.
Yes. It's a long way down there, folks.
It is indeed.
Here we go. Do you reckon you can reach the stop button from that position? Do you reckon one telescopic arm away from...
It's like having Mr. Tickle on.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Look at this bit.
It's good. But you've managed to use the handle the entire time. Your technique was brilliant. On that last go that I came in and watched it, you were almost... The breaking bit.
You just got to try it.
You know, when you pushed it, it went down. His hand was the same. It just rolled
like a trombone.
Oh, just unbelievable. Now, these 2 runs were incredibly close on time, so the edit should deceive people that this is anyone's game. Oh, just the 2 connections in the consumer.
Hold on.
Yeah, we did the protective conductor, decided to go back. Are we in the right breaker? Let's hope so. It's near enough, I think, on that one. It's a 16 amp, I think that could be.
Yeah.
And one connection. You're up there, so you haven't got to reach too far. Come on.
That's worried in the background there. Look at
Can
what.
you press stop, please? Stop. Thank you.
Oh, there we go. Wow.
Wow. Okay.
No, it's good fun, guys. Really enjoyed it.
Well,
Well, we'll
we're gonna
see.
in a
Yeah.
minute.
Oh, it might not be fun. I mean,
It's fun up until
it's fun until
you out.
I'll have to go and
20
see.
minutes.
Hold on, which
They
way
were
am I
long.
going?
The first ones, I think, were 7 and 8 minutes, that sort of region. Okay. So that's a sort of number that we're thinking you're probably going to be in. So here we go, G-Dog.
Ooh.
First of all, I bet we're not on this board.
No.
Definitely not on that board.
Where are we going to be?
Oh, hold on, no one. Yeah.
No, what are you joking?
I'll come back. We'll start with Zach.
Oh, right.
Not over there.
Yeah, over there. Oh, dear.
Holding the screwdrivers like that, he actually did this. Now, it's good, actually, if you're further down on this board.
Oh, yeah. That's
Luckily,
not bad for a rookie, then.
yeah, you're in classic manufacturer territory. He actually did this in 5 minutes 55. Down there where Shile's start.
I'll take that.
That's good.
I'll take that. 5 minutes,
Might be easy,
55.
just put it by the side temporarily.
Yeah, we'll
Just
put that.
side it on.
Shile's, yeah, there we go.
Well done, Zach.
That's not too bad. And again, low down there's good.
Yeah,
Low down there is good.
yeah.
First time ever.
First time. It's all right. Keep making excuses.
Look at that. He's showing that beautiful hairline. He got the scar in.
Right, Elliot, you did this in. You're not on that board. Luckily, you're not on that board, actually.
You're looking down though, young man.
Yeah, I am. You might be on here for a little bit.
Do you need Zach's help?
I'll be able to get down if you need to.
Yeah, you're not. He actually did this in 4 minutes
Ooh, that's great.
and 53 seconds.
Anything in 4 is good.
So
In the
that
old
is-
days,
Well done, Elliot.
yeah,
Well done.
So you're down there with just above Sam Garton at that. We'll have to.
Sam Garden.
Yeah, we'll put that there until we'll readjust later in the week. That's good. That.
That was a good time.
No,
Genuinely.
appreciate that.
Look how many
Good
people
fun.
we've had
Really
to-
enjoyed it. Really good
Well, it is
fun.
now, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you'd have lost it,
I'm happy. I'm success for the day.
Absolutely. So brilliant. So you were great fun, and again, I think you improved every time. Your second run looked Olympically quick from upstairs. Obviously, I couldn't see it going through, and you got better every time as well from a poor start, really.
Yeah.
So, that's good. Right. Okay. So. Chauvin Arnoux, first of all, obviously they must be brand new to the UK, Elliot, so no one's heard of these. And so how long have they been about? 15 minutes? Half an hour?
Not at all, not at all. So Chauvin Arnoux was founded in 1893 from memory.
Did you go to the opening?
Yes, 1893. But Chauvin Arnoux UK was 1986, I want to say, from memory. So 1986 for Chauvin Arnoux UK. So yeah, both been...
Classic name. Where did that come from? Oh, we got someone in.
So it came from René Arnoux and Raphael... No, is it Raphael? No, Raphael Chauvin.
Oh, right, so you took their first names or second names?
Last names. Last names.
Okay.
Yeah, took their last names and made the company out of it in 1893. So it's, 130 odd year company.
It's 130 years.
In France. It's been going for a while.
Yeah.
We invented the clamp, didn't we, or something like that?
Certain stuff. We were sort of founders around certain instruments that, like this.
So anyone new to the brand, it ain't new to anyone else. Okay?
No.
So it might be new to you watching
biggest
this.
Biggest in France, and some places in Europe, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we've just had the burner phone go, so we're giving a prize away over there. Now, just to tease you out nice and early here, I'll bring in hand cam for myself. We've got the MA400 clamp meter, and we've got a little video on this later on, so the MA400. Rick wants to win this, unfortunately he can't. Rick's going to pick out the person with the best comment. And if it's Natalie Gaunt, we know his wife's won it, so we're not going to see that. That's going to be given out
Best comment
tonight.
question. Obviously,
Anything you come in with.
Gary's learned a lot today, so if you ask him really difficult questions about power quality, so anything above the 7th harmonic is really the territory safe in.
Yeah.
THD, Gary?
But again, you've got to remember, I'm very gracious towards, I don't want to take away the wonderful, I brought them along a little bit here, so we're going to let them have a moment. Zach, you can have it. If I get stuck with that, you can take the question off me. How does that sound?
Sounds brilliant. No pressure.
No pressure. So again, best comment, best question, whatever happens tonight, Rick will pull it out and somebody will win that tester. And we can't say price, but that's a good amount of money here, okay, that we're giving away there. We'll come back to that because that's great, and we've got a little video on that.
And power quality is a bit like going to a lawyer.
Is it?
Yeah. Once you walk through that, you go into a lawyer, you just go in with one problem.
Yes.
They'll tell you all the problems you didn't even realise until you get there. So.
Right, let's keep the audience in. So let's start with the single phase device that you've got down there, And we'll just have a quick look at that one here. So this is a single-phase device, Elliot?
Single-phase PEL 51, single-phase power and energy logger. It logs every 1 second. I don't think you can make the display out.
That's fine. No, don't worry about it.
But ultimately, you can either two 4mm sockets that we can see here, Blana plugs that you can connect directly to your live and neutral, or we have a CT socket here for current side. It's bi-directional, so we can see solar side with that unit. It is really a good little unit itself. Captures every 1 second, so we can do maximum demand stuff and various different stuff that we'll go into a little bit later with that unit.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of it? You've had a little play with it today, and
it's got a magnet in it. That's the
it
first
has.
thing I like that.
It's magnetic.
I love
you can
that.
attach it to a DB.
It's worth it for that.
Okay, let's go. Let's get the audience on board because you're uber excited. Okay, about it. First of all, if I'm going to buy one of them, why am I buying it first and foremost for maybe that single-phase dwelling or single-phase commercial installation? Why would I want to own one of them as an electrician?
So this one's more of for someone's that's more residential market or light commercial.
Yeah.
You'd want to own one of these if you've got a customer, if you're doing a maximum demand survey, if you're wanting to check how much headroom's on the circuit, if you want to put more stuff on it, you can do that. Preload survey beforehand, and then you can see if you've got enough headroom there to be able to fit more on the circuit.
Zach, how long would you recommend that maximum demand calculation by the instrument takes place over? Would it be over an hour or longer?
So you'd probably looking at a logging session for about a week or 2 weeks. That's your normal standard logging time.
Yeah. We've got a nice graph of this because this made me incredibly surprised. You did about a week's worth of logging. I think if we bring it in, we can see the maximum demand in there.
So we can see on this one here along the top, we can see a voltage V1, and it was 5 minutes as an average over that period for the average, the minimum and the maximum. And then we've got a timestamp for that maximum and a date in there. So we can see it's 239.1 phase to neutral. And then below, which looks like I've accidentally snipped it off a little bit, we can see a maximum demand of 9 amps on I1, and there's a 5-minute average. And then we've got a minimum of 4.46, and then we've got a maximum of 29.9.
Okay, and that's over just a 5-minute duration, that one?
Yeah, so we can see at the bottom of each graph that ultimately it's the start date.
It's every day.
It's end date.
1 day per division.
Yeah, 1 day per division, exactly that.
I'm on it, Gary.
You're spot on. You're spot on. That's, it's 1 day per division. You're absolutely spot on.
So that gives us the 29, let's round it up. Let's have 30 amps. So this is a dwelling. This is somebody, like we all have, electric dwelling. And we do all these calculations, BS 7671, we're looking on-site guides and guidance notes, and we come up with an horrific number. Rick's going through his course at the minute. He'll get maximum demands that are above 60 amps. So if the 60 amp fuse, he'd be worried to death it would be operating 29, 30 amps.
Maximum. That was over a 5-minute period as a maximum for that single phase incoming feed. That was the maximum load that's on that house.
Another big one is the EV chargers. If someone wants to put an EV charger on the house, you're going to have to do a log, see where you're at, see if there's any headroom left, and then you can make the decision after you've seen the data after.
And I suppose as we get more and more sophisticated, when maybe you can't have your supply upgraded and they're saying maybe you couldn't have an EV charger because you were at your capacity, actually logging it over an extended period of time, you've got that, not argument, but you've got a case to go back to a DNO?
It's exactly that. So, whether it be voltage or current, you have that, you need to capture this data to be able to document something to present to a DNO for them to take action around it. The DNO's job is to maintain the incoming feed to your house, and there are certain documents which I won't go into too much, but the EN 50-160 stipulates ultimately the characteristics of that power that's being coming as your incoming feed. So
and again, if we look at it, maybe this would be a little bit more commercial, but let's bring it into domestic set. We can start load shifting. So all of a sudden then is, what's up, young man?
Load balance.
I've been on it all day, mate. You've been pouncing around in London. I've got an hour's worth of absorbers. So again, you look traditionally, my mum would have been an economy 7 person, so moving all her loads into the evening. Obviously, not many people have got an economy 7 tariff now, so you've got more agile tariffs. But again, it's looking at that log. Well, yeah, I know you're.
In an ideal world, you're right. You want a balanced load.
But you could start going, hang on a minute, I'll keep doing my washing at the same time I turn the oven on while I'm doing the ironing. As I like to call it, Michelle in my house. It's like, oh no, I know she's there. And you look at the data and you think, hang on, what's going on here? My batteries, we could split those up, but we can see that prior to solar. and prior to battery, and maybe it can help us with some of those calculations?
It's exactly that, yeah, load balancing. I mean, that's more of this unit. You can do load balancing with this, but you can't see it at the same time because it's only single phase. So the PEL 51 predominantly won't be utilised. I personally wouldn't choose the PEL 51 for load balancing if it's a three-phase incomer. If I'm choosing, you know, the PEL 113 would be what I'd go for, because obviously you can see the currents at the same time. Yeah, going back to the PEL 51, some people have been waking up and the car charger's not been charging. So the EV charge has just been cutting out overnight because of over voltage issues. So as soon as the EV charger hits a certain voltage, it just cuts off. So then people are waking up without a car. So that's when you'd want to put the PEL 51 on.
Right, okay, so we jumped there from, so that's good. So that does over voltages, which is really important. We said that in the start, didn't we?
Well, it records all of well, that's one of those things you hear. People, the crude way of doing pen fault protection. Yes. Anyone who makes the pen fault protection, apologies, get them there.
Just from Gordon.
Yeah, they typically work on over voltage, and it's not that high actually.
No.
So it was, yeah.
So we know we got plus 10, minus 6.
Exactly. So the ESQCR stipulates, you know, that you're allowed 230 volts plus 10 or minus your 6. Yeah. So you've got 253 volts as your top end and 216 as your bottom. When we got our export agreement here, they stipulated in that they'll no longer guarantee the voltage at the terminals when the solar's installed. That's something I didn't know. So they can actually, the DNO will stipulate that they're not going to guarantee that voltage at that point.
Yeah, which I sort of thought, that's a bit harsh.
It's interesting.
So it's written in there. We're going to have to dive into it in a bit because we've got some other stuff to look at on that. But I thought that was, that's going to cause no end of problems because we've got pen fault protection here. Inverters will shut down at a certain voltage, which will self-correct the problem. But I just thought that's a lot of the time we're seeing comments where people are ending up with the power problem, but it's been caused by the neighbour.
Yeah.
So they won't guarantee our voltage here, but there's another electricity meter 5 metres on the other side of the wall.
Yes.
They've still got the same obligation there, so I don't know how that plays out in real life.
So you've got 10 houses in a row, all of them get solar. You know, they have that one set of scaffold did all. Okay, they all got solar. They all went out. Sun's beating down on that afternoon, and they've plugged their EV in because they've all gone out for a walk. There's a chance that obviously that solar being pumped back into the grid at a slightly higher voltage, we send it way up.
So the solar side, if they plug their EV in, then the current would pull the voltage down. But with the solar side, if everyone's generating and there's no demand there's no load, there is potential for that, the voltage to obviously drift up the way above what is stipulated. So it's a big, it's an ongoing issue, isn't it? We're talking about it now. It's an ongoing issue that is potentially getting worse. But ultimately, if you do, pre-load surveys prior and do voltage logging prior, you can sort of log that data.
But again, it's that classic with us, isn't it? We've created a problem in the future that we can see today, isn't it? If every house had solar and every house had EV and then two people and the sun's coming down and one's in charge and all the rest of it, problem, isn't it? Some people are saying don't go EV now. I bet they are all over it. So I'm sticking with me petrol, diesel, van, all the rest of it. Yeah, okay. So we're not calling that entry level. That's probably your first dive into taking ownership of understanding what's happening in installation. I love the maximum demand.
If you've done a say an EV install and you want to go back to the DNO for something for over voltage issues that aren't at your fault and you don't want to absorb that cost, you can potentially get the DNO in some instances to tap down the transformer. They'll look at that and see what's the voltage on one side of the network where, say for instance, L1, they'll look at voltage one side closest to the sub, it's usually higher, and they'll look at the other end and then do the calculations from there to see if they want to tap down.
Okay, that's good.
It's a manual process though.
Yes, it is. Yeah. Can't do that on an app, can you? Right. So that's the first one we looked at.
Just a couple of things on this. I can see a Wi-Fi symbol here.
Yes.
Does that mean I'm on the...
So this one you can connect it to Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Which means means it's connected to Wi-Fi. It's not connected to Wi-Fi at the moment, but it does have a symbol there. You can actually, it associates its own IP address once you've connected it to Wi-Fi, and then you can log into the unit via the IP address.
Right. Do I have to be in the building to do that, or can I be? If I put this in Gary's house, would I be able to look at it from? So
we've got something called an IRD server, which is like our independent server, and with these units, you can basically remotely log into them where you're not on the same network. If you want to do it by the IP address, it has to be the same network.
Right, but you've got a cloud system.
We've got a system in place. So if you see this one, I know I'm chopping it up. But this one here has a QR code on the back.
Let's have a look.
We can upload this unit to our server, in it, for instance, and we can use this part. Oh, I probably shouldn't say this. Everyone will be logging onto it when I'm at home. So it's got a password and it's got a serial number on there. And if we use that with our free software that's provided with all our, PELs and PEL 51 and 113, then we can log into the data remotely. Is there anything else you want to add to that, Zach?
Maybe your boss is watching.
No, I think you've covered pretty much a lot.
So there's a very, this one, we'll go into that one after. But
for extended logging, then we can actually access that data remotely.
You can see it live as well, so we can see what the live data, along with, we can download at any point. So yeah, it does have a wide variety of uses.
There's a few people who've used this, so there you go. A few viewers have used it. They recognise it, which is good.
No, that's good. So that's a good sign. That's what what we want from our instruments.
So we've got a current, just current clamp.
CT, just a flex seat. Let me get this up here.
Oh, I do like these
flexible, flexible CT in case it's a cram.
Show us that again a bit closer. I'm going to see it later on in the video. Just unclip it for us. Yeah, cheers, Elliot. So it goes around a single conductor. Obviously, we can just route them out of a trunking if we had to, and we can get a single circuit or a tail or something like that.
We've also got an arrow here that we point in the direction of the load. Because it's bi-direct, is that focusing?
Yeah, it is.
Because it's bi-directional, we can get what we're drawing from the grid and what we're supplying to the grid.
Okay.
And not only that, we use these little class things so this would obviously be L1, for instance. Little clips that go on there to identify what CT it is.
So what's the maximum amount of time I could record on that for?
So it varies. It depends on what you want to capture. So you can capture 1 second data, and then so we can have it capturing every 1 second and showing us that 1 second data, or we can have it giving us a summary.
Right.
So we call it an aggregation period. It basically summarises that data over a period of time, like we saw on the here. We had it summarised.
Right, so you had that on 5 minutes.
Yeah, we could change it to capture every 1 second if we wanted.
Right.
But generally speaking, I like just having
the length that we could do it for.
So it varies, like I just said. It varies. If we have it capturing every 1 second,
so it'll bring down the amount of time that you can do it for. So if we did it every 5 minutes,
so the SD card. It depends on the SD card. It depends.
Weeks.
We can put. Is this 32 in this one? That's 32. But yeah, weeks, months. This year, 16 years. I was doing some calculations the other day, and this one's 16 years. If we're capturing, a best case scenario. This one, if we wanted to do it. Not every 1 second, then we could do the same. It would be, be months. Enough time for you to be able to capture.
Well enough time to log anyway.
I think I like the 2 week thing. So if you had a slightly different cycle, you just 2 week things.
You're trying to define that, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're not
So we're going to step up now. So if we've done that one, just one thing before we go. If I had a dodgy, say, smart meter at home. Again, gives me false readings and that. Could I measure power with that one?
That does power and energy as well.
Okay, so I can
see
compare the
kilowatt hours
two readings as well.
Yeah, we can look at it day by day, or we can look at it week by week. We can filter down to any dates and times. So anything that we want to do, we can filter with this, and we can also create a report. Click of a button, you can put your logo in, and create a report that automatically sends there, print as a PDF. And then send it over to the customer or over to whoever you need to send it over to.
Good. I thought your smart meter stopped working since you had that Albanian gang round.
Yeah.
You've never had a bill since.
I dug the road up. It was all fine. Anyone who didn't see the news, that was a joke from the news. So if we're stepping up from there, we're now going single stroke 3-phase. So this is a 3-phase unit now. What have we gone up to in numbers? Because you'll know the product.
So this is our new one that's been released. When was it released? I want to say the beginning of this year.
Yeah, January.
It's a 3-phase power and energy logger. It's very similar to this one, other than we can go down to 200 milliseconds. We have Wi-Fi capabilities. We have an RJ45 Ethernet cable. We have a USB connection on there, and of course our SD card in here. Along the top, we have a self-powering adapter. So it supplies voltage from V1 and neutral, so phase 1 and neutral, that supplies it into the figure 8 main socket at the bottom. And then we have V2, V3 for each of the phases, and we also have 3 CTs that are capable.
Right.
And then obviously it works the calculation for the neutral.
So it can do your power and everything.
Balances. Yeah, exactly that.
We did stick this to the side of our distribution board here when we were playing around with it. So yeah, please look away if you're easily put off. So if we bring the photograph in, if hopefully we've got it. We can see that's probably not our Schneider distribution board in our workshop. We haven't got it. Which one was it? The Schneider distribution board behind you with the thing stuck all over the front of it. we got it?
We haven't got that one on there. We've
No,
got
okay.
number one.
No, okay, that's fine. It was a great picture. Thank you very much for watching. See you in the fortnight.
We can run through that one. It's very similar. If you want to get that up again, we can just have a little look at.
Right, a second. Just bring the data in for us.
So this we can see here is a three-phase installation. We have the start date at the bottom left and time, and then the finish date at the bottom right and time, and we can see it's 12 hours between divisions where the lines are. Along the top we've got RMS data, and then we have our cursor minimum, so that is actually where the red line is. We can't do any manual, it's a screenshot, so we won't be able to show you more about that, but we can also see the maximum. So if we can see across the window, the maximum on L1 was 113.6649, very similar on L2, so it's quite a balanced system. And then L3, we've got 134. And then it calculates the neutral current because any unbalances across the phases will come back down on neutral. So we've got 68.767.
So it does help you verify your design as well, doesn't it? So
yeah. If you
installed a cable or over a period of time, the original cable, maybe a factory unit, and then they start adding more and more kit, don't get a problem. Maybe those overcurrent protection devices aren't as accurate as some in the future. Yeah, you could start saying, hang on a minute, we have got a potential problem here. If you know the cable's at its maximum from that design.
Yeah, you could, if you've got any cable, you could see if it's capable of seeing that, taking that current.
Yeah, you'd like to think an older installation's probably one that you'd have to take a cut at looking at. You'd like to think a new one would be designed correctly, but of course.
But it depends. Older stuff, and older stuff is, it gets worse as you go.
The L3 was slightly higher. It's usually the other way around.
Bring that back in, Joe. There's some other things I can see there. So I can see lots of things along the top I can click on, so I can see with total harmonic distortion.
Yeah, we've got THD value, which is anything that's not at the fundamental frequency. Ultimately, it comes out as a percentage.
What harmonic does that, the Power 113 go up to 50th?
50th.
Oh, there you go. 50th. Beyond your 7th, Gary.
This one.
We're opening up the question now.
Yeah, this one's up to the 50th order, so it will measure.
And again, if we got them down here, because in shame the photo showed it, how you can actually connect to the supply end, and now obviously the CTs work, because they were magnetic tips, weren't they?
Of course, we've got. Have you got the camera again?
Yeah,
I like these.
Yeah, brilliant.
So we've got these little magnetic reeling boxes. I was going to say rolling boxes, is it?
Yeah.
Magnetic reeling boxes here.
Rizzler on the back there. We'll call them Rizzlers now.
Ultimately, you can reel up and utilise whenever you need, and then we have, like I said earlier, these little grey clips here that identify what phases. Then we have these very useful mag probes.
Yeah, they are brilliant.
You can either stick them on, depending on what site you're on or what the dB is, you can stick it on your screw head for your breaker, or irrespective of where the voltage is, it should be very similar wherever you are in the dB, and you can just stick it on the screw head.
I'm in.
That's what I mean. We had some great, not this problem, we had some great photographs of it actually connected in, didn't we? We're making those measurements. Now, we couldn't leave it like that because obviously the front was open. Obviously, we'd have to go and tackle it in a different... No, we couldn't leave it for 7 days with the panel front on. Well, we could
in some instances, you're going to have to make tails. You have to make tails and
they take a few blanks out.
Yeah, just stick them through there.
Yeah, they're good because it's a temporary measurement to get the voltage signal for that.
Yeah, they're very handy.
They are convenient. Just to...
Oh, I like them.
They are. Yeah, you'd love
them.
Yeah.
And I like the little Rizzler box as well.
Little Rizzler box. It's got a new nickname
design.
that's going to last.
So again, if we go back through it, so what it can do, I take it can do everything we've just discussed.
Yeah.
So we're looking again, maybe three-phase being quite important. If you've got three-phase installation, you're installing EV chargers again. If you're doing single-phase chargers, you'll be looking, obviously, first of all, at which phase was loaded. Well, they were pretty equally loaded there.
They weren't.
And again, if you were introducing it across 3 phases, you're going to need to make sure that you've got the headroom again, haven't you?
Yeah, you want to try and balance the load as best as possible. No, that's not always possible, but ultimately, you want that load balanced as best as possible. And, if you set it logging up, you can sort of do load survey plans, you can do pre-install load surveys and various stuff with a 3-phase system. And not only that, because it will measure up to the 50th order, you can actually identify equipment that is sort of, it's not running efficiently, or you can actually isolate that after the fact. If you've got on an incomer, a 3-phase incomer, you've got it attached and you're logging over a period of time, you can then see as a THD value what THD value current-wise there is on there, and then isolate what is causing that at most instances.
Okay, do you want to distill that down for humans now? Gordon? What you just said?
Like Frankenstein.
There we go. Too technical.
So
I like it.
Yeah, just pull that back.
So pull it down to...
We've got the 50 hertz cycle.
Yeah.
But not everything is working at 50 hertz, and that causes us an issue, doesn't it?
Yeah. So various different... I think it's a hard one. Various different loads ultimately aren't at that fundamental frequency, and it's down to switch mode power supplies, variable speed drive stuff that is not drawing sinusoidal currents at the same in line with the voltage where we're talking about at 50 hertz. Yeah. If the current is switching on and off across the cycle loads, we can have stuff that's drawing not at the fundamental frequency, and it can cause issues.
That'll actually give you the percentage of what it's.
Yeah.
So if you, back in the day, if you were designing a cheap lighting ballast, you would. Sometimes lighting is all about cost, as we know.
Value engineered.
Value engineering. So you would when you were converting from your AC to DC. If anyone did you ever do rectifiers?
We did.
Rectifiers.
Same principle.
So the crudest version, you put a rectifier and a capacitor. So the capacitor only draws current when it goes above your AC voltage. So basically draws peaks of current. So your lighting ballast was just drawing tiny peaks of current at the peak of the waveform. And that distorts your current. It's not like that classic power factor you used to teach. With the lag and the lead and horses pulling things down and frothing beer and stuff like that. It's more complex, mathematically complicated, but it's because you get spikes of current drawn in the middle of the waveform. And
stuff switching on and off.
It originally came in when they started bringing PCs into office blocks and filling Canary Wharf-sized buildings up with PCs. You'd end up with burned out neutrals.
Yes.
Because all the current...
Triplen harmonics, because you've got... I won't go too much into it, because you could have triplen harmonics, so it's in intervals of the third... Go on, sorry, Zach.
Is it 3, 9, 15, 21?
Exactly.
There you go.
So it's called triplen harmonics, and because they're all in phase with each other, if you think about L1, L2, and L3, obviously they're 120 degrees apart. With should all be balanced, should all add up to 0 at all times. Is how we'd want it, but in reality, ultimately, that isn't the case because when you have triplen harmonics and current there that isn't at the fundamental frequency, it's all in phase.
So what we end up doing is the neutral return path is carrying a considerable amount of current than before.
Exactly.
Burn out neutrals.
More than what the phase conductors are in some instances. We're finding that.
We can tell that from the instrument we just looked at.
So this instrument we can see up to the 50th order, as we discussed earlier. It will do frequency current measurements up to that order.
Yeah. So again, with installations like ours, obviously we put this in again. We've got the option then, if we know our power that we're using over an extended period of time, we can start looking at simple calculations for the amount of solar or battery we might need. So most people, how much roof have I got, how much I can get on, how much can the DNO let me? But actually there's probably a nice soft spot in the middle there where actually you've got exactly the right amount of solar and you've worked out exactly the right amount of battery in order to make sure your installation is running and not doing what we call in the trade now a RIC, which is powering your next door neighbour for free as part of the supply authorities. So, so that would be interesting. Are people doing that? Are they at that stage where they're...
That's what they use them for. We've found people that are definitely doing it. I've spoken to people that are using it for that, preload surveys and energy surveys for people that are trying to then install solar and want to see how much energy someone's using. So, they're definitely using it.
There are people that are paying a lot more than they should be and then using them to see how much they should be really paying.
You can put a cost, so we can put in a tariff-based cost price and we can change it at night time and we can put it within the software and it can churn out how many kilowatt hours we've consumed over that period of time and it will give us a data and costs and then you can press a button, send it to a customer. And not only that, over voltage side, we talked about it earlier and I know we've talked about it a lot today, lots of issues with over voltage. It can send you an email. We can put in the software, as long as it's connected to a Wi-Fi, we can put in there that we want it to email when it gets above, 153 volts and below 253 and below 216, and it will send you an email out notifying you that it's gone above that.
Yeah, that's
and then you can download it.
Yeah, same with maximum demand. So you could put, if your current went over, say if you had an 100 amp fuse, set it. If if it sees anything over 100 amps, it can email you again. So it's...
You must have mentioned that siren back in the days where you went and turn off all your inductive loads.
Well, the compressor were getting near maximum demand, yeah. I did, yeah. I used to, because industrial energy is a lot more complicated than residential, because people who hit on triad charges, so maximum demand and time of use, and there's a lot of industrial energy is really complicated.
Yeah, it is. It's forever growing, and
And it was quite interesting. We put a short video out last week of there's a solar installation going on here, and people just asked, why didn't they just flood the roof full of solar panels?
Yes, that's why this conversation is.
Yeah, but obviously DNO's put an export limit on you, so that's a limit. And there's only so much you can use in the building, so you can end up, solar people, their interest, they'll try and sell you as much as possible, but actually buying what you use.
Exactly.
Yeah, so
you get the economy at the start, that you actually get what you want, rather than, like you said, if he'd have flooded that entire roof, his actual payback time is going to get considerably longer than actually what they need. The only problem is obviously as you change the use of the building, it could be a little bit trickier, but they're not going to want to give you a load more.
It's a sports hall, Gary. Don't think they're going to start. I don't know what else they're going to do in there.
Use much electricity.
They might have your Shawaddy Waddy tribute band in there every now and again. But
on a Saturday night, was it platform white shoes or whatever it was for that one?
So I would say an honest solar installer would probably do a proper energy management of what you're using first.
I'd like to think that in most instances you'd want to probably see what's being consumed first, and anyone trying to be decent to their customers would want to say, look, this is how much you're consuming, this is the coverage, and if they want to feed it back to the grid, they can do so.
Win a job on it though. You could win a job on the fact that you're offering them exactly what they want, not oversizing everything. You hit that sweet spot.
Yeah, not solar direct. This is honest Gary here. Not,
I love it, solar direct. I like that one.
You buy one, you get one free.
Another thing that I like about this, and we discussed this as well, that we say we've got an older plant equipment, and we're looking to obviously make a judgment call whether that piece of machinery needs upgrading, and what would the benefits be, payback time on the new piece of equipment when it's working. Actually, if it's considerably poorly energy efficient, it could make your decision to replace that machine, an old compressor that you can hardly hear in the back room, but actually it's using way too much energy. You think it might be time to move it on, and the payback time on that comes greatly down. I know we did it back in the day on LED lighting, didn't we, when we went away from incandescent and compact fluorescent. But same with machinery. You could actually replace a piece of machinery and think, well, I've got my money back in 18 months.
You can isolate different circuits. So, for instance, you've got, as you were saying, a three-phase motor of some sort. You could connect it directly where the motor is and see what load that's pulling. And then, you can isolate it. So you can isolate various circuits depending on...
And it will show you your power factor on any installation. So it will tell you how efficient your electricity is.
And the rogue thing in it is when you turn the building off and go home and you find it's still banging away as well. I know that's, a lot of high-rise buildings have intelligent sockets and BMS and all the rest of it. How many buildings around here have got BMS? They haven't got it. So you could have that, hang on a minute, while we're using X amount of kilowatts overnight, and then all of a sudden you find, other things are being left on. You wouldn't have left anything on your factory, but you had a main switch, didn't you, when you left? And then when anything, outside lights all off, blew the candles out, didn't you? And away you went.
You've seen Christmas Carol.
Yeah, one piece of coal, only the Muppets Christmas Carol. That's good. Any other features you want to highlight for our audience, that may now be considering upgrading from the first one to the second one?
We've gone over most of it, so maximum demand surveys, energy efficiency side of stuff. We've done over voltage issues, haven't we? We've been over
power factor correction.
Power factor correction. It's an interesting.
Okay. Go there.
Well, I'm more than happy to talk about it. So, power factor correction. Ultimately, this unit you'll be able to see the power factor. So, whether you're installing power factor correction.
Because we did see some lagging stuff earlier on. Have we got a slide on anything
so
lagging?
I can't remember. We can see. Have you got the slides?
They're talking at the minute.
They're talking. But we can see that. So ultimately, if you've got capacitive or inductive loads, you can lead and lag. Ultimately, we can see how efficient.
No, that's
definitely not the one.
That's not the one.
We're okay. Yeah, so that
we've got one there somewhere. That's
which is good. And can you almost work out? Let's say you've got a lagging load. Can you almost work out the amount of capacitance that needed to be introduced?
So you can see. I'm not 100% sure about that.
Because they normally work automatically
on that unit.
They sort of come in and out.
You could do the calculation actually. Yeah, you could. But there'd be more calculations just looking at the voltage side of stuff. But you could do the calculation and see how many capacitors you need there to bring that voltage up.
That's good. It's good. Right, I'm enjoying this. Let's go for the next one. So
let's go.
We're moving up to the...
Stepping up to this proper machine here.
Well, again, it's at the front, folks. It looks ginormous, okay? Yeah, it's just there, okay? Obviously, as we look at it, I think it's the way the screen's... It's the fisherman's trick, isn't it? It looks like the fish is closer to the screen than we are. It's not quite as big as it looks on there. But this is now top level, yeah?
Yeah, so this is our Class A unit that can measure up to 127th order. As far as harmonics, it's, you know, it's do you want to go a little bit into this? I've explained about the other ones.
So the 8345, that'll do everything that the PAL 113 will do, but it will do your transients, so your sparks, and also it will record Inrush as well. And then obviously you've got your screen, you can see all the wave signs and stuff like that.
I think it's really important we talk about like power quality issues. You know, they overcome to, it could be voltage sags and swells, transient spikes, high voltage leading to high or low voltage leading to high or low current. It could be, you know, harmonic issues. So these are the primary things that are causing issues today. So this is where we use this unit here and various other stuff due to these power issues. It says, obviously we've gone a lot about the ESQCR and the voltage, what the voltage should be. And we've also gone in the EN50 160. This, you can press a button on it. It will start a EN50 monitoring session for transients, for the alarms. So it sets the alarms parameters for that, and it also sets a trend session, so logging voltage, logging current. We can connect it to a network, much like the other one that we discussed earlier. You can connect it, attach it to a network, download it remotely. We can also change the ratio. So if we're at a substation, we can also put in their LV switch panels. We can change the ratio in the software to, say, if you're on 11 kV side and we're at the LV point, we can actually put in the software what the ratio is, and that will churn out 11 kV rather than what it is. So yeah, it's a good, really, really good unit. We can see there we've got the voltage. I've taken the CT off earlier.
Right.
So we won't be able to see the current. Bear with us a moment. Let me just put this round here. We can also web browse in. Have you got the... Should we have a little web browse into the unit while we're doing that?
I started sweating when you said web browser.
It might be easier. We can see a current waveform.
I'll get the
IP up after, but we can go. Let me just show this. So what we've got here is we've got the voltage face to neutral. We can see we've got an L1 and neutral in there. Okay. We can see our nice voltage waveform, and we can see a current waveform there. It is not a great waveform because what I've got it connected onto.
Have you connected it onto?
I will not answer that question because of what we spoke about earlier.
Sorry,
no. And then what we've got over here, we have these soft keys that basically any of these buttons at the bottom, and we can press THD, for instance, and we can see a THD value in comparison to the fundamental. And then we have crest factor, which I won't go too much over. And then at the bottom here, we have another, we can see harmonics. So for instance, we can see what voltage harmonics are there, and we can go along at each current order. I'm on current at the moment. But we can go along and see this is, number one's our fundamental. So this is our voltage, the harmonics that we've got at the first.
Yep.
Which, you know, that's the fundamental, which is obviously 100%. Yes. And then we can see there and thereafter and go through all the way up to 127th. It can log and do everything. Do you want to get the IP, Zach? And we can go through that. It has 5 independent voltage channels. So we've got earth along the top. We have our neutral L1, L2, L3. And on the left-hand side for our current side, we've got L1, L2, L1, L2 and L3 and our neutral. There, so yeah, do you want to type it in?
To the Wi-Fi here, and then it will give us our IP address, and you can actually web browse in from a laptop.
Right, yeah.
Right, okay.
We've got an IP address.
I'll read that.
Yeah, go on.
192.
Yep. Dot.
168.
168. Yep.
Dot 178.
178. Yep.
Dot 42.
That's it.
42.
Okay, so everyone's in on that now then.
Oh, I'm in.
You're in. Look at that.
All right.
Oh, we're in already.
So you can also control it from here. So if you click, let's go on the home button at the top. So here we have trends. That button would be a trend. If you tick that,
First time you've ever been trendy.
We can see these are the old log sessions that are on the unit. So let's go for Julian, which is our general manager. We could click on him.
Let's see what Julian's been up to.
See what he's recorded. And then if we go on to amps, is that amps? Yeah, go on amps. We set it 1 second. It was a very short logging session, but we can ultimately see here that we've got the different currents at that point. So we've got yeah, we can see there on each phase, number 1, 2, 3, and so on, what's on neutral.
Right.
But it wasn't a long logging session.
So this is stored
Yeah,
back
go
in
back
time.
to the home button at the top. And then we can alarm functions, which is the next function in here. We can set any parameters within here. This was one that I've set, so click the enter button. And that is also controlling this unit. So anywhere, and we can see here, is an undervolt. It's probably me unplugging it, but yeah, that's basically it. You can set parameters within the alarm function by clicking this button here.
Okay. Anything else? What else have we got on there?
All right.
There's loads on there. Go back to home. We can go over the
But I can set this up on a unit, and I can
you
sit
can
at
web
my
browse
desk
in,
and,
so we can sit at the desk and we can
see what it's doing, interrogate it.
Exactly.
Right.
We can
I love that waveform though. That is just
neat.
that voltage versus current there. If we just bring that one back in, you wouldn't expect it, would you? If you've Rick's in the studying program, he would expect them to be running either out or in phase or lagging or leading, whichever he's doing. But look, that's awful, isn't it?
I think it's because of what I'm connecting.
Yeah, we know.
to,
Yeah, you've got a fiddle down there.
Yeah,
so
we
that-
could.
that's fine. But that shows you what we would.
It's also a lot. It's on my laptop power supply as well, but the laptop's fully charged.
That's
so
the load.
yeah, but it goes to
exactly.
lightly loaded power supplies can be worse than.
Okay.
Exactly. It's the
Fully
same as
loaded.
if we don't have a
We tend
load.
to see that, don't we? With power factor will drop right down when there's no load on there. So there might be just some LED lights.
Because there's capacitive loads, there's, as we were saying earlier, that signal chopped up from AC to DC.
Yeah.
It creates this as capacitive load. So
Oh, the lighting industry are great at creating power problems.
Is that one you were in for many years?
Oh yeah,
Or was it
I've had, yeah. Well, the problem, it's if you. Yeah, when you design a power supply, you design for efficiency at the maximum load.
Okay, were you doing the design, the back end, so circuit board?
Yeah. So you design for maximum. So you would design 100 watt. It'd be 99% efficient, power factor brilliant at 100 watts.
Okay.
If you drop down to 50, it's in the toilet.
Yeah.
And then obviously, some customers buy it and only buy 100 watts and load them to 50 watts and put hundreds in a building.
Right.
And suddenly you've got it's a bit more strict than that. They've tightened up the regulations as time went on, but it was power supply problem. But that's, for me, that's classic. You don't want to see fast rise time pulses like that, because that is loads of harmonics. Oh, excited there, Gary.
Oh, yeah, I know. You weren't even here all day. I've done the bits of it. I've done the low-level stuff. Everyone appreciates my low-level stuff, and you've got a bit of highbrow now.
Yeah.
As we've gone in. So, okay, so we've got tons of ability here. Okay, and the electrician now is in control when they have that conversation with their supply authorities.
Yep.
So we've seen on YouTube and that people are fighting backwards and forwards. It's going to be more and more common. So don't think I'm picking on anyone. It will be more and more common. But now you can't go back and say it's their fault necessarily. You've probably got to go back with some evidence now, haven't you?
Yeah.
And depending on which device you want to go with your evidence, could mean a different one that we've got here.
It depends what it is. It totally depends what the power quality is.
I don't want to know, but it probably is a few quid.
I won't say what that is.
But how else can I access one of these then if I didn't want to purchase
there's
it?
various hire companies that you can utilise that I won't name for obvious
which is
reasons.
fine. So it's available for hire. So if I Google searched it...
Yeah, if you Google search PEL 113, Chauvin Arnoux, any of the CA 8345 and the PEL 51, you'd be able to hire them all.
Okay. Let's say then that I was going to hire when I got a bit stuck.
You could give us a ring.
Yeah.
We're here. That's what we're here for.
We'll come out and
anytime.
support.
Well, you're coming out,
Yeah,
right?
I'll run it.
we are running. We're there.
So you'd be on site, you could be...
be on site.
Oh, right, so it's gone from a massive problem maybe with a DNO or a supply authorities. I've hired a piece of equipment, you've turned up and I'm now winning.
Yeah, I'm happy to provide training. We both are, we go the extra mile and work.
So is that on use of the instrument or diagnosing a problem on site?
Diagnosing problems. I'm there to support with the instrument.
Right, okay.
I don't mind analysing data and helping wherever I can. And
Do you know
looking.
where Cambridgeshire is?
It's all right, I'll drop back in a bit of consultancy if anyone... major power supply problems on site, that probably caused half of them. So that's the... But great, inrush currents is a one. I mean, that's another classic lighting problem.
Yes.
LED lights have got... Some of the older ones, probably horrendous inrush currents.
Yeah, C's and D's back in the day, wasn't it?
Yeah, and sometimes a consultant engineer will design a circuit
Yeah, definitely.
for a certain type of product
Yep.
with a certain type of inrush current. Then the electrical contractor
Found a cheaper one.
might value engineered the project down at the counter, down at the wholesale, and bought one with a higher inrush current, then suddenly gets installed on site. and all the breakers are popping out when these lights switch on.
Right, okay. So again, you'd be able to see that.
Be able to see that, yeah.
Yeah, the amount of inrush. So if you did one, you can multiply it up to see what, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Clever stuff. All a little bit above and beyond me. Folks, remember, get your comments in, because you could own this one. Remember, get your comments and questions in, folks.
It also does transients as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Which we just did a video last week on surge protection.
Yeah.
And people, but transient, they are super small pulses.
Snapshot.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But it will capture it.
Yeah. Now that is a great video, because try to actually capture that.
Captures it in the zone, yeah. It just literally takes a snippet of it and captures it on the screen. I don't think I've got any to show on that unit, unfortunately, but it's good.
I'll knock you some transients off. No, friend, I'll give you an example.
Go on, then.
Friend of mine, he used to obviously.
Right, it's a loose one. Friend of yours.
Friend.
Make up this bit. Yeah, go on.
friend. Farmers, you know what farmers are like.
Yeah.
Wouldn't pay for a three-phase supply on the farm, so he was making some machine. He had some machine tools at the back.
Okay.
Yeah, so he bought a load of three-phase machine tools, very expensive.
Yeah.
Motor drives, all sorts of stuff in there, and was running them off a three-phase generator.
Right, okay.
And machine tools just, depend on the cycle, just suddenly stop. And because they were the only thing on the generator, you basically got massive transients going on as soon as those stopped.
Back in.
And there was nowhere for the power to go.
You're right, okay.
And it was blowing loads of cards on his basically expensive CNC machines.
Right, okay. Wow.
Because of the power. So I captured the transients. It took a long time to do it, but yeah.
Is that what it didn't take you long, but you told him it took a long time? Still leaning into that lie, are you?
A couple of weeks ago, but I solved the problem.
Right, okay. Yeah. What did you do?
I put in a load of 1,000-watt halogen lamps.
Right, okay. Oh, wow.
So there was always a load on the generator.
Finding that, transients can be anything from, lightning side of stuff, or it could be in a substation, lugs not crimped down, or so that's some resistance there that it's just you're getting a spark, and across that cycle, you can just see it, and they do capture it, so it's very interesting.
Yeah, that'd be a bit of kit. One of those tucked under your arm, Gary. You could just be going out diagnosing all these problems for people.
Nobody would want me going. Yeah. Not really, would they? Well, we'd spend a lot more time together than we have done today, I would imagine. Hey, Elliot's turned up.
So no, we don't. We go support people who are training the equipment, but we don't go and go to site. We'll go to site and show them how to use it and stuff like that. But we won't. We're not electricians. We're not electricians, and we're not.
Well, electrician territory down there.
Yeah,
you're not.
All right, no, David. It wasn't very efficient. 1,000-watt floodlights are not very efficient, but the workshop was toasty and warm.
It was really good fun, though. Enjoyed that competition we done there.
It was good. I enjoyed it. Even though I am on that wall.
You're on your own wall.
I'm on the right side of it, though.
Yeah, you're on the bottom side of it. Did they both beat you, Rick? Give us a thumbs up, Rick, if they both beat you. That's a thumbs up from Rick. Well, it looks like a thumb. It might not be one of his other fingers, but yeah, it was a thumbs up from Rick. So you both beat Rick. And Rick's obviously TV electrician. So that's what you want.
Okay, well, that's a good sign.
Gone. Unbelievable. Jenny, so shout us out who won the prize today, please, as we have a little 30 seconds. Did he? Alan Chan's won.
Oh, well done, Alan.
And
you know Alan?
Yeah, well done, Alan.
Yeah,
he tipped him off.
Yeah, he's what?
Must have tipped him off.
No.
It was dead slow.
That was dead slow. Yeah, no. Alan Chan, friend of the show, been there years and years. Find him all over the place, normally at a trade event. So thank you very much, Alan. So you will be getting. Oh, is he getting the lights? Is that what? Oh, you get a good prize this time instead of some nasty sunglasses. I tried to give Aaron Nobbs a set of sunglasses when he was out with me at an eFIXX College Connection. He handed them back. He said, "I've won the race all time enough times to say I've got a couple of pairs of these cheap sunglasses." Bless him. What a great bloke as well. So thank you very much. Just a quick one there for me. College Connections, we are now breaking until September. I'd like to thank Tim Beechin and John Ford, as well as other people that have joined me on that way round, such as Eddie and such as Aaron and such as Christopher Horn, who have all joined me. And I'm sure there's other people that I've forgotten as well. So thank you very much for your help. Can we have a little break and look at this tester, this little one we want to give away at some point? Can we have a little 30 seconds look at this, folks? You're right. It's got a bit of a whiff that this is something that Rick wants, hasn't it? You know, incredible bit of kit. You said there might be some, but I've never seen that wraparound clamp meter. Obviously, we'll see it earlier on as well. I think that would be a must-have for me in the tool. So we're going to have to nip over to Rick in a minute when he's got a microphone near him and see if he's got any great questions coming in, and we'll do a few of those great questions now if we can answer them. So we're going to come over to Rick in a few seconds' time, Rick. So Rick's over there. I'm standing up. Rick, here he is. Housewife's choice. It's Richard Gaunt. How are you, Richard? Look at that. My daughter's asleep in the background. Look at her. She's trying to get out of shot. She's over there.
Don't forget I'm a minute behind here, so what's the question?
I think minute behind.
Well, I'm with the live.
I'll come over to see Rick and see if there's any great questions, Rick. Is there any great questions you've written down?
Yeah, there were a brilliant one earlier doors, but I think it were answered by the team at Chauvin. From Craig Watson. Let me see if I can just find that on mobile.
Okay, this makes great telly now, Rick. You search in your computer for a question. Okay.
Will the CA kit be able to measure THD up to the 100th harmonic, 500 kilohertz? That's the latest requirement under ENA ER G5/5. Over to you, Elliot.
Yes, so it is G5/5 in the sense it can measure up to 127th harmonic. This can anyway, our 8345. This one, like I said earlier, is up to when I talk about the 50th order, that'll just mean the harmonic that it can measure up to. So that's 127th for our CA8345.
Just settle in. I was going to take that one.
Oh, go on.
Right, just like in it. Just like jumped all over me. I was going to come back and just give you the answer for that.
Yeah.
I'll let you have that one, Elliot.
Well, Gary,
under there, give it a minute.
Okay.
Great question.
What about someone who's used the DSO to do FFTs for harmonics?
Yeah, Zach. I'll let you have that one.
It's over to you, that one. No, we're just back to you.
Great question. So keep them coming in. It doesn't mean that one's going to win. And obviously, Chauvin Arnoux are in the comments, which is great. Obviously, that they're taking the time out this evening as well. So keep piling those in. Have we got any people that we're used to seeing in the group chats down there? Any
well, that was Retro's Ed machine has used this digital storage oscilloscope to do fast Fourier transforms.
Right, okay.
There you go, if you know these things.
I'm on the wrong show all of a sudden this week.
But this is like major tech here. I mean, it's as we said at the start, it's complicated. You just used to do your froth and beer, canal boats, towing things down the river and stuff like that.
90 degrees one way or another, which was impossible unless you could only do that with fake capacitance, couldn't you, really? You know, electronic capacitance get out by 90 degrees. It was impossible.
We've moved on from then.
We apparently have.
Yeah.
Okay. I must have all those old learners back for a refresh, 19 years worth of them.
People do like that wraparound clamp.
This is really good.
It's really good, you know.
It's really convenient and it's small, easy.
In your pocket.
Oh, size again, eh?
A bit of size. I like talking about the size.
It fits in your pocket and it's nice and small. Okay,
you can also get a magnet for it as well, just chucking that in there. A belt thing and a magnet, so you can stick it to any panels, any bit of kit.
No, and again, I'm not suggesting that our audience may be not fully aware of you, but you're just getting out to things like elect shows and that. You're sort of not necessarily relaunching yourself, but you're reviving yourself, aren't you, in our industry?
2015.
Yeah, so when
since
Julian
2015, we've been really trying to push and get out there more now. So, yeah, on a big push to...
The market's expanded. Power problems just used to sit up there. Now everyone's got them. So it's like going to see that lawyer.
Yeah. They're all over Cambridge, these problems. No, it's good, and it's obviously where we're moving next. And again, it takes us to a different level, doesn't it? At the end of the day, we've got this kit in because of what we're doing, microgeneration, all the rest of it. I know it is lovely.
That's magnetic as well. I didn't know that. I've just been fiddling.
The whole DB was covered in it. It was all set up and just working. It looked brilliant, absolutely brilliant. But I apologise. I'll try and put that photograph out on social media if it's not too lethal.
Oh, you'd have a set of them. I tell you,
let's do it again. Just do it again then. Come on. And again, because we were late.
I love tactile products like that.
Yeah.
We love a magnet, don't we?
Oh, we do now. Yeah.
Look at that magnet in action.
Yeah. For those who don't get out very often, you're going on holiday soon. You look like you need one, mate. Yeah. We'll get back to that before the end, I would imagine. So, any more questions coming in, Rick, that we need to address? Or Chauvin Arnoux all over those questions? Are there any more that you want to just highlight to us while we're doing it? Okay, he said yes, but we'll come back to him in a minute. Okay, so we've got a prize to give away at some point tonight, but we are going to give away a boxing prize. I think it's time to think about our boxing, okay?
Well, a bit of context first, though, Gary. Let's just revisit the boxing problem from last week. Let's just have a little look. Yeah.
Where am I? Joseph Hammond. You are here as you have been found guilty for actively conspiring in allowing incorrect terminations to go out onto the internet.
I don't know what you mean.
Did you see the video?
Yes.
And did you notice the incorrect connections in the Wago Box Pro?
What? No one did. Look, it was Gary and Rick that made off the connections. It wasn't me.
They were both picked up fighting each other as they both denied making the connection. And as they were found fighting, this can mean only one thing for you.
Oh, goodness know what. That if you want to be in for a chance to see another amazing fight, then be sure to head over to the LEW Electrical Distributors website. Sign up and you'll automatically be entered. Plus, set an account up and you could get 50 quid off your first order.
Yeah, let's go. I'm Rick's cameraman. If anyone comes up to me at a show and ever says hello, Gary, I watch this and the other, they must watch me being Rick's cameraman. I should have a T-shirt at eFIXX saying I'm Rick's cameraman that happens to do a fortnightly live stream and I do a bit of must-haves that surprises people. That's all I do. So I would not like to throw my good mate under the bus. That was Rick who did that. So that's good.
He's been saying it was you all. It was like apparently he had to go off and answer a phone call. Yeah. And you were getting impatient and burst in.
That doesn't say. Well, hang on. It might be Rick's doing a moonlight and he's gone off to just find out whether he's got another. We don't need to hear you now, Rick.
It definitely won't me.
It definitely won't.
When I checked back on that footage, I looked at the timestamp on it. I'd taken a phone call.
I'd just like to tell you, I've got a new cameraman. You're going to see me in a lot of short videos now because Rick's going to be the camera person. That's what's going to happen. Let's find out who's won then.
You see what you have all week. I've had this Gary denial.
Yeah. Okay. So boxing, really important to me. You weren't as bothered about it as me. I was uber excited. I had tickets for the first one, which was obviously Conor Benn when he was first time round, but they flipped it round now because obviously there's no way Junior was going to let him get away with it. So Chris Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn at Tottenham Hotspur's Stadium on the 26th. And the winner of those effectively semi-VIP, I think you've got soft seats and you've got drinks, the ability to have drinks, from LEW, Electrical Distributors, as part of their competition, 8 branches across the UK with great friendly service. The winner is, take a breath, Avondale Electrical Solutions. Not services, not contractors. Okay, we've got solutions. Okay, so they've got a solution. And I am available if there is a spare 2 tickets for me and Marcus to come along and join you, so make it the fully entertaining. If the members 4 tickets, you can thank one of your friends for being the winner, and we'd like to join you. There will be another opportunity in the link in the description to get £50 off your first order if you want to go along and give LEW a try. So please do. Spend £250 or more, you get 50 quid off. And they want to do another giveaway.
All right.
So we're going to have to wait for that in the upcoming weeks.
I did see that. And in Avondale Electric, they are a real company.
Are they?
I did check that. Yeah, there is, as ever with electricians, there's a few of them in the country.
Right, okay.
Solutions is actually based in the LEW area.
Oh, right, okay. So
there you go.
Well done to them. So, yeah, I look forward to hearing from you. I can, any social media platforms to reach out to me or email Jenny, and I will be along on the 26th. I had tickets for the first fight, remember. Okay, brilliant. I think we've got another video. We were busy. We were out Monday. We got out in the wild.
Oh, well, obviously following on from the Wago
I had to apologise for Rick's. Absolutely. Everyone I met, I said, oh, sorry about Rick's video, but...
People thought you just left that mistake in to get comments.
They did. They thought it was clickbait.
Yeah.
Global electrical manufacturer Wago has officially opened its brand new UK headquarters and warehouse in the West Midlands.
Is officially open, and we welcome everybody to be part of what the future looks like.
A state-of-the-art, eco-friendly facility that reflects the company's commitment to innovation and sustainability. The purpose-built 62,000 square foot development located in the town of Halton, the historic site of the world's first low-frequency radio mast, meets BREEAM excellent standards, placing it among the top 10% of sustainable buildings in the UK. The new site is carbon neutral and already fully wired with Wago's own patented connection technology, including more than 600 of their 221 connectors and 24,000 metres of UK manufactured Winster cabling. With over 105 staff based at the facility, the company is reinforcing its UK presence from a site that puts connectivity at its heart. A fitting location for a business that produces over 20 billion electrical connectors globally each year. Gordon and me attended the grand opening, getting a first-hand look at the demonstration area, warehousing and shipping centre, production zones and modern office spaces. It was incredibly humbling to go down there, wasn't it, and spend some time at the new facilities in Rugby. Fantastic. We got to speak to a lot of great people down there. We got to meet the owners, founders, didn't we, as well? They were down there.
Family members from Wago, who set up the business. So it's it's phenomenal. Huge investment down there. So obviously a popular product for a lot of people. And actually in the video you'll learn some of the stuff you didn't realise that they actually make. So including PLCs, Yeah, the lighting control systems and DIN rail terminals.
Don't just make 221s, young man.
No, there's a lot more. But if you watch that back, actually, you might see the first sneak peek of a 10-way 221 that's coming out very soon.
Okay, which we should get our hands on as well. But again, you look at their installation, they've got air source heat pumps, they've got full solar PV array on there. They're probably, if we tapped into their supply, we'd see something a little different than we would expect when we just see that AC waveform that we explained in the college.
You're saying they've got power factor problems already, Gary?
No,
harmonics all over the place.
It's going to be there, isn't it? Okay, we're going to have issues as we move forward. So, no, it's good. And we have got this little tester to give away, but before that, you make an MFT. Everyone's familiar with that.
We do we make an MFT. It's a bit larger. It's a bit larger than the traditional MFT, but it has got a power. Bit heavier, but it has got a power quality analyzer actually built into that. So everything else is very similar on this unit, but it's sort of 17 in one. What we can do here is we can actually look at the harmonics on a circuit. So we press the test button. Let's stick this. This is where it's different from your conventional other units that may well be on the market. It has a built-in power quality analyzer.
So you can there's actually a...
I can't get the voltage leads out quick enough.
You can attach a clamp to it and get all your current measurement off it and get all your harmonics. Stuff like that.
So it's an MFT with lots of other things.
Yeah, it's basically an MFT.
It's a heavy MFT with more stuff in it. Yeah. Now, would you recommend if somebody was changing, I know you're going to from a sales point of view, that if they were thinking of buying maybe the dwelling one we saw earlier, would it solve enough of the problems to remove the need for that?
Oh, I know we're coming in from a sales point of view, as you said, but it's not, this is going to be not for the general electrician. It's very going to be for someone that is doing a bit more maintenance or it's got the harmonic side on there, so it won't be for every day.
So dwelling installer, probably not going to buy it, but we level up to that, a little bit more in there. It's a big bit of kit, isn't it?
It's a good bit of kit. I was speaking to someone the other day, and he said he really loves it. He said he's really, really got used to it. It's taken a bit of getting used to because he's changed over from a different brand.
I think that goes with any brand you change from, doesn't it?
It does, of course it does. You're used to what you're used to, and like I say, it's a really good unit for the maintenance personnel that's trying to look at potential isolating harmonics.
Plant maintenance. Yeah, we cause all the problems.
Well, yeah, but again, this is where we're going now. It's nice to think that the electrical industry, we're not where we were, we're moving forward, aren't we?
Which is good.
The whole world's going electrified.
It's always changing.
Net zero.
Look at all the problems we've caused.
Yeah.
You need to diagnose them.
There's EV chargers in Cambridge that won't stay on. Debates everywhere. People are trying to work out whether the undergrowth needs trimming back. And if anyone is watching this, I actually watched the opposite video to the original video, and I thought it was incredible. The person that narrated that other video made a very good job, and it was very entertaining as I was cooking my Sunday lunch. It was. I really did enjoy it. It was a good piece of... I learnt a lot of stuff in it.
It was 1-0 to the DNO, I think, at the end, was it?
Yeah, I don't think it bothered the person that was narrating my video. But, it looks like, one person did lose out on that. But again, I'd argue that's a learning journey for everyone that we went on, that somebody else took one for the team. So when we get you lot in, we can unpack it as eFIXX trying to edutainment people, a little bit of education and entertainment. Yeah. We say there's kit out there that maybe or you didn't know. I know that person was pushing the kit as well, but there is ways of finding these problems. So you can go back to the DNO and actually say maybe it isn't my fault because I've done all of this analysation.
Yeah, if you had the data before anything, you could then go back to the DNO and go, look, this was over voltage prior.
Yeah. What can you do about it?
What can you do? Proof there to give, haven't you?
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, but again, someone's got to learn it first. Mistakes are hard to make, especially if you make the first one, innit? You got to live by your mistakes.
Of course you have.
Okay, you enjoying that? Yeah, you there?
Yeah, good.
Yeah, you reckon?
Yeah. Play with that.
Rick's our man.
Rick's happy with that.
Testing guy, isn't he?
Yeah.
What do you think to it, Rick? When you had it? Did you? Gee whiz, he's watching the show. He's watching the show. He's sitting back there. It's meant to be working. He's throwing his hands around.
What do you think?
Rick? Are you watching the show?
I'm just making sure everything's coming through seamlessly.
Okay. Joe, give us a wave. How's it going, mate?
Yeah, very good. Thank you. We're not mic'd up, so you might be able to hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you. Right, okay, brilliant. Okay. Right, next up, any more questions coming in, Gordon, that you've seen come through there? Because obviously Rick's watching the show rather than actually interacting with it at the moment. So what we got? What we got, son?
Yeah.
What we got?
So people just try to...
Mercier asked a question earlier.
Hang on. Get your mic on first.
Mercier asked the question, where can I get the magnetic clips separately, perfect for testing, or for the test leads?
If you send an email to info@chauvin, CHAUVIN, -arnoux.co.uk, I will see what we can do for you.
Ooh.
Oh, there you go.
Another... Well,
there's going to be more loads coming through.
Another question I want to hit here for you. What's the difference between harmonics and interharmonics?
Ah, very good question. So it's a really good question. It's harmonics and interharmonics. They're different bandwidths, I believe. It's not a topic I'm actually 100% up on, but yeah, it's different. But really good question. It's not a topic I'm really familiar with, but...
Gary,
come on. Interharmonics are certain bandwidth, I believe. It's not something that I've frequently looked into.
Well done.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, well done. I'll leave it with you.
Oh, it's Daddy B. So harmonics are the integer multiples of the fundamental 2, 3, 4 times 50 hertz, etc. Interharmonics on voltages appearing at frequencies in between these multiples. I think.
PT. We can all do it, folks. It's a brilliant tool.
So there's people who said there's an email flood on its way to you. So.
Lovely job.
Yeah, they're good. Yeah, I like them. That was the first thing me and Rick saw. Rick, are you in the process of trying to find me a winner? Because at some point we're going to have to announce our winner. So what are you going to go for, Rick? Am I going to jump up? I'm up and down like a yo-yo here. My daughter's in the background. She's now putting her hood up. So look at that.
For me, it's probably the first question that came through from Craig Watson, where we're asking the question about the 100th harmonics.
Yep. Can we send him the link so we can obviously get his details?
I'm sure Joe can sort that.
Yep. Oh, brilliant. Okay, so we need his address. Okay. So well done. So that first question comes in. You've won the tester. Okay.
Was that
Congratulations.
What was it for Rick? Shout it again.
Craig Watson.
Craig Watson. Craig Watson won that for his first.
He's been active in the comments all the time.
That's good. No, he's really good. Okay, so that's where we're up to here. Now, just a little bit of housekeeping. Are you here in a fortnight?
No.
Am I here in a fortnight?
No.
No. It's going to be like having a facelift. Well, it would be nice, but it's going to be like having a facelift for the show. We're going to be taken over by double Joes.
2 Joes.
Yeah, so 2 Joes going to take over from us, so that's great. Gives us, and if I think they do really well, we can retire from this.
Yeah.
We can lay back and we can be in the audience watching it like Rick does. Maybe we could be a bit late, a few beers in the Indian rather than doing it in the 2 Joes. So who have we got in a fortnight's time, Gordon?
We've got Scrapman.
Scrap Man.
There you go. I thought you'd like that.
Yeah, Greencable are in with us, so they're back in, Ed and the team. So our bin is completely full.
But actually, that reminds me again, Greencable. Let's obviously the Lou's has to clean up. Who has to? Who was in this? Let's have a look.
Piece of
Just one
footage that
mentioning
will be
Greencable.
cropped out.
Oh,
Look.
dear.
Oh, that's what that was for.
We said, did you watch an episode? You obviously don't. And as always, folks, if you haven't got a Greencable bin, please check out the link in the description. And they're getting more and more widespread across the UK.
Well done.
Ours is full. We're expecting to get ours in again, so that's a great thing. But again, if you want to support Greencable, lots of colleges up and down the country I now see them at colleges, which is fantastic. If you want to support that by using the link in the description, go over there and find out if they're in your area. If they are, they'll drop a bin off to you and you'll be off and running like the rest of us. How close is yours to being finished, Rick? How close is your bin to being finished?
About halfway.
Halfway.
I need to take some out of that one, I think.
It's called stealing.
Yeah. And obviously Ed from Greencable is in next time. Jenny, make a note of the weight of the bin, and we don't want anyone diverting the cash while we're on holiday.
No, absolutely not. Rick's already suggested he's going to be doing a few hours a day. That's what he's going to do.
That works really well, you see, because Doncaster Cable send us the cable. You did us a great favour turning it into lots of scrap very slowly.
Oh yeah.
We put it in the bin. Greencable come and pick it up and deposit some cash in the bank. It's quite good.
A good deed for the day.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
And you're on the leaderboard with legends. We'd like to thank LEW for supporting it and obviously giving away those boxing tickets. We would greatly appreciate. We've had some amazing guests, and I agree that I think Chauvin Arnoux should be in the thoughts as you're thinking about those faults that are going to be in those installations that your normal MFT tester cannot find in order to solve the problems of the future as we go for net zero. We'd like to thank the good people at Klein Tools for allowing us to have Klein rather than Deklein this week as we did the race wall. And we'd like to thank Greencable and Ed as well for supporting this live stream. And that is probably going to be it for us.
So where can you get this stuff from?
There's various, if you search it online, you'll be able to get it from various different distributors that we use.
As what we call it, don't favour one because you'll upset the rest. That's what happens with that one. So again, folks, we've got an end song that's brilliant. I think it's got the best jingle tune we've had for a long time. You won't see us, which will be a highlight to everyone in a fortnight.
Yeah, we're not going on a caravan holiday together.
No.
You're off to Vegas, aren't you?
I'm going to Vegas. Where are you going?
I'm going to New York first week.
Yeah.
And then Italy the week after that.
Yeah, I'm just going to. My 25th wedding anniversary, so I'm going taking my wife to Vegas. And for those people who ask, there's loads of people. My mum's as tough as old boots. I got told Wednesday last live stream I was on not to leave it a couple of days before coming home, to come home the next day. She's now in rehab. I know that's not the rehab I would have to go to. She's in rehab. I mean, she's done amazingly well. So, let's hope
I've heard rumour she's been down to London Poly to try and book another seat on that plane. She'll be with you at the I Do drive-through.
Yeah, she would do. But no, thank you very much for people who asked. It was, it wasn't great leading into it, but my word, she's as tough as old boots. So I'm off to Vegas. You're off to New York. I've got a 25th wedding anniversary. You're on about anniversary, what, you're about 12 years in, ain't you? Or something ridiculous.
Yeah. We hope you both have a lovely time.
We'll try to, as long
obviously,
as
I'll be taking. As long as I don't bump into him at the airport, so that'll be fine. But I'll obviously in the hotel. I'll be taking the front of the socket in the room.
Yeah. Michelle will be holding the camera as I'm doing some stuff. B-rolling everywhere. Zach, it's been an absolute pleasure. You've been a great guest. So thank you very much. And over there beating Rick. So well done for being faster than obviously Rick. And brilliant, Elliot.
Really
appreciate that board. And your knowledge is phenomenal. And I'd suggest either of you, if you get to call them out because you're working with their equipment or you want to delve into it, I think you'll be in safe hands. And remember, you can find this equipment by searching on the Google, and you will find it at all leading wholesalers, and you can hire it as well. Roll the end credits. See you in a moment.
In the wires and the walls, there's a story to tell of a future being written where the old systems fell. Solar on the rooftops, chargers on the street, the quiet in the background, a different kind of beat. The current's getting smarter, the tech is getting built, but with every new solution, there's a challenge to unfold. From flickers in the lighting to signals that distort, it's more than just connection, it's a full field report. Elliot's watching closely, Zachary knows the signs, reading every waveform, tracking all the lines. With meters in their hands and knowledge in their head, we're keeping power clean, staying one step ahead. Live from the front lines where the changes flow, shining light on what the rest don't know. The race is on, and the path is clear. Net Zero's calling, bring the future here.